Dean, kumusta po? Ano yung assessment po ninyo doon sa unang linggo ng impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So last week, yung assessment natin, it was a successful presentation of the first witness doon sa side ng prosecutor, yung NBI Senior Agent Calilong. And narinig din natin yung cross-examination mismo ng defense. No? Just to give everyone an update, merong 11 trial dates yung sa Article 4. And mamayang hapon, no, we will be able to listen to the second witness on the side naman of the prosecutor.
Opo, sa inyong pananaw na napatunayan ho ba ng unang testigo ng prosecution ang kasong o ang issue po ng Article 4 itong grave threats laban nga kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
Well, it's difficult to predict, no, kasi the judge naman ay yung ating mga senator judges ng House of Senate or ng impeachment court. But based on what we have witnessed last week, 3 days yung trial, presentation of the prosecution's witness, defense naman ng, cross-examination naman ng defense, we believe and we also subscribe with the observation with the other legal luminaries na merong slight upper hand yung prosecution in terms of presenting the witness and in authenticating the evidence. Kasi yung nakita natin dun sa cross-examination, the defense wanted to show that VP Sara really did not hire or hindi naman approve daw na kung sino ba yung hinahire nila na assassin. However, if we look at it, yung purpose naman ng testimony was more on to authenticate the video that video really exists. So dun sa issue na yan, I believe that the prosecution was able to present it well.
Opo. Mahalaga ho ba yung issue ng pag-authenticate or doon sa context mismo ng video?
Yes po, napakahalaga po yun, especially that ngayon we are already admitting electronic evidence in court. No, we are subjected to the rules on electronic evidence sa law natin and ginagamit din yan na basihan ng ating impeachment court. Hindi pwede na kahit ano-ano lang ng mga electronic evidence. That's why kailangan ito i-authenticate. Pag sinasabing authenticate po, sir, ibig sabihin doon, kailangan ma-lay yung foundation kung sino yung nakakita ng electronic evidence, paano niya na-download, paano niya na-save yung document, paano niya transfer yung document from one device to another. So it's more on the authentication. As to the content naman talaga, kung ano ba yung mga nakapaloob doon at kung talaga bang ground ba talaga siya for impeachment or considered ba na high crime yung grave threat, that can be subject to another presentation of evidence doon sa mga susunod naman ng mga witnesses nila.
Opo, malaking butas ho ba kung ang witness ay nag-record lang via doon lang sa Facebook mismo? Hindi mismo doon, hindi siya nag-operate ng Zoom ba yun kung saan ay nag-press con ang Vice President Sara Duterte, attorney?
Yes, we believe naman na since that was publicly, that was a live stream, no? In fact, I think that was a press conference conducted by our dear Vice President. Yung mga nakikita ng public doon sa Facebook, that can be considered already as admissible, considering na dapat na authenticate lang yung pagkakapresent ng evidence na yan. So that was really a good way in terms of presenting the electronic evidence. And we believe naman the prosecution was able to present naman.
Opo, baga hindi na issue kung ni-record, hindi siya mismo yung nag-tawag nito. Nag-operate tong Zoom at the same time wala po siyang personal knowledge. Doon, yung issue na po yan, wala siyang personal knowledge kung may mga kaso din si Vice President noon, may sinampa. So, yung mga issue na yan, attorney, kayan ba ay katanggap-tanggap sa rules on evidence mong tinatawag po ng sa legal na aspeto?
Yes, tama yan. No? Kahit na kasi yung ginawa ni NBI Senior Agent na pag-check doon sa video, yung pag-download, yung pag-save, yung pag-transfer ng document, that already itself is a a proper way for authenticating the evidence kahit na hindi siya mismo yung naggumawa or naggumawa ng Zoom session. That can be admissible already. And in fact, if kung balikan natin yung nangyari last week, yung kanyang ginawang pag-save ng video, yun din naman yung ginamit din ng defense, no? I mean the content of that video was also used by the defense in terms of proving the proper context on the side naman sa defense, 'di ba? Kasi they were banking on looking at the proper context kung bakit nasabi yon ni Vice President.
Opo, pero kayo payag ho ba o sang-ayon doon sa possibility na ipalabas po yung mahigit 2 oras na press conference na yan para magkaroon ng kompletong konteksto doon sa part lang na ipinakita doon sa impeachment trial?
Yes, pwede siyang strategy ng defense, no? Na ipakita yung buong 2 oras para maipakita sa public yung talagang context kung bakit nasambit or nasabi yon ni Vice President noong November 2024. I subscribe to what the presiding officer said during the hearing last week na meron namang panahon yung defense na gawin yon kung sila na yung magpe-present ng kanilang witnesses. Kasi sa ngayon po, nandito pa tayo sa side ng prosecution. The prosecution presents their witnesses, saka magko-cross-examine si defense. Kapag matapos na po yun, meron namang opportunity si defense later on to present their witnesses. And most likely, probably, the defense will have to present the entire 2-hour video to prove to the public that it was taken out of context.
Opo. At ang ginamit po ng depensa doon sa kanilang cross-examination sa testigo, ipinakita po nila yung video po ni Attorney Zulaika Lopez, yung Chief of Staff ng Vice President. Attorney, sa inyo pong panig, paano yung relevance po nito dito sa isyong tinatalakay dyan sa trial?
Tama. So pinapakita doon na yung context, no? At yun talaga yung pinaka-defense na makikita natin from the side of VP Sara, that it was really taken out of context, that there were threats already received by her and by Chief of Staff, Attorney Lopez. Malaking bagay din iyon para maisabi sa public na yung ginawa niyang statement was really a form of a response, or it's justified for her to do such threat considering the immediate events that happened prior nung sinabi niya yung statements na yun.
Opo. At doon ba sa naging pahayag ng Vice Presidente, nakikita ho ba ninyo na o may kukonsidera ho ba talagang pagbabanta yon laban po sa mga opisyal ng gobyerno?
Okay, we're now looking into the substance, no, whether or not grave threat can be considered as an impeachable offense. Sa pagkakaalam ko at in my study of law, hindi naman tinitingnan ang conditional, kung conditional ba or hindi yung pagbibigay ng threat, no? The mere fact that there was a threat, then that itself is already considered as a threat, no? I hope that made sense kasi during the trial last week, nasabi kasi na conditional yung threat. So for me, no, it can be considered already as a threat, pero magiging problem yan ng prosecution kasi they need to prove that there was criminal intent. Yung threat kasi is a crime found under the revised penal code, and lahat ng mga crimes under the revised penal code, kinakailangan ma-prove natin that there was criminal intent or sinasabing mens rea sa law. Yun yung malaking challenge on the part of the prosecution to prove that there was criminal intent on the part of the Vice President. But when I heard the trial last week, sabi ni NBI Senior Agent Kalilong that there was a criminal intent because it can be proven by the fact that the Vice President is capable enough of doing that threat. Pero again, this is evidentiary in nature. So marami pang mga witnesses na pwedeng ipipresent ang prosecution and defense to weigh the evidence.
Opo. At bago ko lang ipasa kay partner attorney, itong si Attorney Zulaika Lopez ang inaasahan nating magtetestigo siguro today. Hindi po natin matitiyak ang possibility po ng daloy po ng impeachment trial. Ano ho yung inaasahan po ninyo?
Okay, si Zuleika Lopez will be presented within this week, no? If I'm not mistaken, the witness who will be presented by the prosecutor later is si NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotok. So inaasahan ko mamaya is yung more on the substance na. It's more on the threat, the nature of threat, yung talagang nasa content na mismo ng Article 4 on to prove that indeed there was culpable violation of the Constitution. There was a high crime. It was considered as one of the high crimes, and then there was a betrayal of public trust. Kasi yun namang tatlo yung grounds na tinutumbok ng article ng impeachment trial na ito, particularly on Article 4. So unlike nung kay Kalilong, NBI agent Kalilong last week, it's more on the authentication. It's more on proving that this happened. May nangyaring press con, may ganitong video na lumabas, at ito yung mga sinabi ni Vice President. But as to the content, ito yung mga inaabangan natin this week.
Attorney Dean, maayong buntag si Admar po ito. Nabasa ko po yung
Ay,
post
buntag.
yung post niyo po sa assessment sa 3 araw na impeachment, no. At curious lang ako dito po sa number 6, VP Sara can run for public office in the future if the impeachment court acquits her, or even if she is convicted, the conviction does not include an express penalty prohibiting her from holding public office. Mara niyo po bang may paliwanag po, Dean, ito?
Yeah, thank you so much. So we are now under nasa an impeachment proceeding tayo, and yung ini-expect ng public basically ay yung botohan ng ating mga senador. Although may issue pa tayo no kung ano ba talaga yung kailangang number para ma-convict yung si VP Sara, 16 ba, 13 ba, or 12 ba. But as to kung saan man ito patutungo, dalawa lang yung magiging resulta. Will the Senate or will the impeachment court convict her, or will the impeachment court acquit her? Kapag na-acquit siya, ibig sabihin mapawalang sala. That's it. So, hindi pala grounds for impeachment yung mga ina-allege ng prosecution. So clear doon si VP Sara. And she can definitely run for public office, no, in the future. And mas maganda yon kasi napatunayan niya na wala pala siyang kasalanan. And that is a plus point for her when she will run for an office in the future. That's the best case. But the next possibility is the court will convict her. Okay? However, we should not stop there. Kasi yung conviction, pwedeng convict lang, or meron pang additional phrase na prohibiting her from holding public office. Kasi isa yan sa mga nakalagay doon sa constitution natin na that's a penalty when you convict an impeachable officer. Kapag silent yung penalty na yan, ibig sabihin sinabi lang, okay, we convict Sara, impeach siya, matatanggal siya sa pwesto. But that doesn't mean na hindi siya pwedeng makakatakbo ng office in the future, may it be vice president pa rin, or president, or senator, whatsoever. Kasi walang explicit provision doon sa kanyang sa resulta na bawal siyang tumakbo for public office. And sino yung makaka-decide niyan? Still, yung mga senators natin.
Opo. Dito naman po sa nakapending na maraming trabaho ngayon, ang Korte Suprema po, no, mula pa noong nagkaroon ng paghahain muli ng impeachment complaint laban sa pangalawang Pangulo. Alam natin nung una, nakakuha ng paborableng desisyon mula sa Korte Suprema ang pangalawang Pangulo, pero dito sa ikalawa ay wala pang desisyon hanggang sa kasalukuyan. Maraming pag-question doon po sa proseso, doon pa lang sa House Committee, hanggang sa umusad na po ito sa kanilang reply doon sa paunang reply nila sa impeachment court. Iginigit nila na may mali, unconstitutional yung naging proseso. If ever po ba, nakikita nyo po ba na buhay pa rin yung petisyon nila, or magiging walang silbi na if ever po kasi moot an academic na, attorney?
Yes, thank you. So yung mga nakikita natin na pending cases before the Supreme Court, no, are the following. Number 1, ipahinto ang impeachment. Number two, kailangan may resolve ng Supreme Court kung ilang numbers ba dapat to convict VP Sara. Kung 16 ba? 16 out of 24. If we base it on the total number of senators, or 13 ba or 12, depende as to the number of senators who are participating right now in the impeachment court. And pangatlo, may question din regarding sa pag-designate ni Senate President kay Senator Judge Escudero as the presiding officer dito sa hearing. So maraming mga issues na kailangang ma-resolve ng Supreme Court. Pero pending that this cases filed before the Supreme Court, nagpatuloy pa rin, nakikita natin, 'di ba? Last week nag-start na yung hearing. Si Senate Judge Escudero was already there sitting in the rostrum. Tapos siya na yung nag-preside, and then both parties acknowledged his authority. He was addressed being the presiding officer of the impeachment court. So while pending yung cases, nagpatuloy yung hearing, I believe that the court or the Supreme Court can still make a decision out of these issues. Kasi nga, right na for them to decide the issues. And even if moot and academic na siya, pag sinasabing moot and academic, parang sinabi ng Supreme Court na wala namang basis for us to proceed on deciding on this matter kasi ayun, nag-start na sila. May mga instances na the Supreme Court still rendered moot and academic itong mga pending cases, but still they rule on the substance, they rule on the matter for guidance din ng public and for reference for pag may mga future cases na may similar issues. So I think gagawin yun ng Supreme Court, no, since this is a very important matter at it might happen in the future as well.
Opo, attorney, marami na tayong mga experience, no? Though ang mga umusad lang talaga na impeachment ay yung kay former president. Well, umusad siya kasi umabot sa Senado, though bumaba siya sa pwesto. Ang pinaka-umusad talaga nagkaroon ng conviction na itong kay Chief Justice Corona. The rest, maraming mga inimpeach hanggang sa Kamara lamang, tapos bumaba po sa pwesto. Hindi pa ba sapat yung mga existing na batas, maging yung sa mga experience natin sa mga nakalipas na impeachment at saka yung interpretasyon kung meron man sa nakalipas sa impeachment po para dito at inaabangan din natin yung magiging kasi for future na rin po na reference kasi ang dami lalo na diyan sa Senado meron pang maraming katanungan doon sa threshold, doon pa nga sa quorum, halimbawa kasi parang first time yata na magkaroon tayo ng mga senador talaga na makukulong kung sila ba ay pwedeng makadalo sa impeachment at sa iba pang mga hakbang po, attorney.
Oh, tama. Actually, that's a good question, no. Marami na tayong mga impeachment na proceedings before. Some of them were successful, some of them hindi. If we take a look at it, did we learn so much from those previous experiences? Well, yes. However, if we look at it, lahat ng mga impeachment proceedings experiences natin ay unique. Napaka-unique. Like if we look at the impeachment hearing right now kay VP Sara Duterte, it's very unique kasi ang daming issues na hindi na settle before. For example, yung pag talaga kay Senate Judge Escudero as the presiding officer, it never happened before. And this will prompt the Supreme Court to really decide on the matter. Kasi nga, if we look at the Constitution, very clear na kapag ang president ang i-impeach, yung uupo na presiding officer ay yung Chief Justice ng Supreme Court. It was very clear. Pero all other cases, for example, Vice President, walang sinabi ang Constitution. So this is something that the Supreme Court can clarify sa case ni VP Sara. No? Sabi namang ibang legal luminaries din naman na given that hindi naman expressly sinabi ng Constitution kung sino ang magpe-preside kapag Vice President ang i-impeach, then we go back to the express provision of the Constitution, and the Constitution states that the Senate can adopt its own rules in effectively implementing the provisions on impeachment. And that is why possible sabihin ng Supreme Court that yes, we acknowledge the authority of the impeachment court in delegating it to Senate Judge Escudero. So these are things na never na-resolve before. At saka yung sa threshold, kung ilang numbers ba talaga dapat yung mag-convict sa ating Vice President, this is something na parang very clear before, pero ngayon it's unique again, considering na meron tayong judges na who are not there sa court participating, no, the proceeding. So do we count them in determining the 2/3 vote or not? This is something that was never also experienced in the previous impeachment proceedings. So that is why lahat ng mga experience natin ay may mga unique na katangian. So that's why it makes this impeachment very exciting. And it also tells us that our democracy is really working.
Opo. Attorney, si Jade po ulit ito. Kaya pinag-uusapan nga yung dalawang opisyal na magkatabi daw sa podium. Yan po yung nagiging issue. Si Senate President Win Gatchalian at itong si Senator Cheese Escudero. Para po sa inyo, ito ho ba ay unang pagkakataon na may dalawang na opisyal na nakaupo sa podium? At may mga iba na ikinukumpara nung panahon ni dating Pangulong Erap Estrada. May dalawa din ho na magkatabi, dating Senate President Aquilino Pimentel at yung nooy Chief Justice ng Korte Suprema.
Tama. Pero if we compare it to that previous experience, no, kasi kapag president yung under the impeachment trial, walang question naman na yung presiding officer should be the Chief Justice. But this time, medyo, if I may call it, medyo weird lang siya because we have two senator judges in front, no? Nandoon silang dalawa. Para sa akin, I felt like it shows indecisiveness on the part of the Senate President, no? Kasi meron naman siyang, if that's what their rules provide, that he can delegate someone to be the presiding officer, then he can leave the entire restroom to the presiding officer, kay Senate Judge Escudero, and then go back to the rest of the fellow senators, join with them, and then it doesn't stripe off naman the power na binigay sa kanya being the Senate President. So it's more of a show of indecisiveness, if I may see it. But if that's what they wanted to show to the public, then so be it, considering na, again, the impeachment proceeding is sui generis.
Opo. Attorney, huli na lang, dito po sa BIR box, dahil may mga nagsasabi na pwede daw pabuksan ito at ipasuri ng mismong Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. Ano ho yung legal na basehan po nito, Attorney, kung meron man?
Okay. So regarding naman sa BIR na concern, no, BIR box, we have to remember na nasa executive naman na department yung BIR, and then meron namang power of control yung president over government agencies under or within the executive department. It can be a matter that can be resolved within their department. So I believe naman that the president has that power over yung power of control niya sa kanyang mga different department heads.
Opo. Ayan. Siguro, Attorney, yung huling mensahe niyo na lang para sa lahat ng ating mga kababaeng nakasubaybay po dito sa impeachment trial ng Vice Presidente.
Yes. So huling mensahe po is that yung public sana should listen to the impeachment trial. I know na yung iba nababagot or natatagalan. That's basically the legal process. I'm actually happy, no, na this is put into public kasi yung yung mga tagapakinig, yung mga Pilipino will have an understanding of kung paano nga ba ginagawa yung mga ganitong bagay. Ano ba yung legal processes? Kasi kung makikita natin, yung ginagawa ng impeachment proceeding ay pwede din naman natin siyang maihalin tulad doon sa mga nangyayari sa mga regular courts natin. So it is somehow educational at some point. But more than that, it's more on accountability measure of our government. No, wala tayong hindi tayo dito nagja-judge. We are not convicting or putting the vice president under a a public trial, or we are not putting her under the bad light, but basically we wanted to know the truth, and we wanted her to side her defenses as well, and we are very excited to hear that in the next few hearing.